Ah, ha? Naririnig na ba? Or nakikita na ba tong aking slide?
Yes, ma'am. Okay na po.
Okay. Thank you, sir. So, saglit na lang to. Okay? So, for every laboratory, no, it is important that the analysts or the technicians na nasa loob ng laboratory is aware of the hazards na pwede nilang makuha. So, very toxic yung some of our chemicals na hinahandle. So, ha or malanghap or maabsorb yung mga chemicals na yan. So first is through inhalation. Kaya nga tayo nag-wear dapat ng respirator para ma-filter yung mga fumes and mga undesirable gases. Pwede ring ma-absorb through skin or cut sa skin. So that's why we have to put in gloves. Kasi as our protection, we say that our PP is the last line of defense natin, no? Dapat kaya dapat every analysis nagwo-wear tayo ng appropriate PPE. And ano pa yung pwedeng mangyari? Pwedeng ma-ingest via mouth into a gastrointestinal system. Meron pa ba dito na ginagamit yung mouth to para i-blow yung mga pipettes? I know one nung naging boss ko siya, sabi niya during the 70s daw, talagang yung mouth nila yung ginagamit nila pang blow ng pipettes, no? But minimake sure naman daw nila na hindi naman concentrated yung acid or base na yon, no? So sabi ko, totoo ba? But yes, it's true. Ginagawa daw talaga nila yun dati. So, fortunately naman, no, hindi naman ako naka-experience na kailangan kong gamitin yung bibig ko to blow out yung ating mga pipette. Okay, so sabi ko nga, our PPE or our personal protective equipment is our last line of defense. Ano ba yung minimum PPE? When I say minimum, dapat for all laboratory, no? So hair tied back, may goggles, may lab gown or lab coat, you have gloves, long pants, so bawal naka-short sa laboratory or naka-dress. And closed shoes. So bawal naka-slippers. So dapat laboratory shoes. So ito yung minimum. Kapag alam natin na mas hazardous yung i-handle natin, of course, we have to use respirator. Or minsan kailangan mo pa nito meron ka ng lab gown, meron ka pang discover, and sometimes may goggles ka na and mask, meron ka pang face shield. It really depends on the severity or kung gaano ka-toxic yung kinikater natin na sample. So, this is just parang comparison between nitrile, latex, and vinyl. But for most ng laboratory works natin, ito talaga yung highly recommended. It's non-allergic, it's comfortable to wear, high resistance siya to puncture. So, mas okay to kasi minsan, 'di ba, may mga pointed baka may ano na pala yung gloves or pwedeng ma-prick tayo. So at least we have gloves to protect our hands. High resistant to chemicals. Kapag yung vinyl lang or yung latex, minsan nag-a-absorb siya. And hindi mo alam yung acid, kinain na niya yung latex na gloves. Has the nitrile gloves has high resistance to pathogens. It's non-biodegradable, although more expensive. And minsan, yung napapansin natin na downside ng nitrile gloves is that minsan nagpapawis yung kamay natin. Ayun. So, ngayon, meron na tayong tinatawag na GHS or the Globally Harmonized System of Classification and Labeling. So, this is mandatory already, no? Na dapat yung mga SDS natin, labels. So, sa mga terminals namin, sa mga storage depot, so required na ng batas na nakalagay yung SDS, yung GHS and mga SDS dapat available and dapat naka-print out talaga kung ano yung mga hazards na pwedeng mangyari dahil doon sa specific product or chemical na yon. So where? Halos sa lahat. Sa workplace, consumer products, yung mga chemicals natin na binibili, lahat sila is naka-harmonize na. Emergency response team and sa transportation. So most of us, employers, workers, consumers, dapat aware tayo on how to understand GHS. Okay? So ito yung mga examples of GHS na madalas nakikita natin. We have these explosives, gases are under pressure, irritants, flammable, corrosives, specific toxicity hazard, respiratory, etc., oxidizers, acute toxicity, and environmental hazard. Okay, so isa-isahin natin. Mabilis lang to. Oxidizers. Ano yung usually mga oxidizers natin? Hydrogen peroxide, nitric acid, perchloric acid, sulfuric chlorates, nitrates, permanganates, and nitrates. So, ito yung mga, kaya sila oxidizer, these are chemicals that decompose readily under certain condition to produce oxygen. So, kapag any reaction from the environment, pwedeng mag-oxidize. Ano yung pwedeng mangyari? It may cause a fire to burn violently. So, dapat hindi ini-store ang mga oxidizers with other flammables. So, dapat nakaseparate yung mga oxidizers. Next, we have the flammables. So, flammables are those that readily catch fire and burn in air. The vapors released from a flammable liquid are a common fire hazard in the laboratory. So we need to, kaya 'di ba kung mapapansin niyo, kapag gumagawa ng SDS, laging naka-indicate yung flash point and fire point. Okay? And if ever din na magta-transport ka, magpapadala ka ng sample, yung pinipirmahan din natin is naka-indicate doon yung kung ano yung flash point niya. Bakit? Para alam natin yung maximum working temperature kung saan siya pwedeng i-store. So ano ba yung flash point? It is the temperature at which the leak, so ito flash lang, parang blue halo. Then right after your flash point, you'll have fire point. Yan. Next are the explosives. So these explosives, when exposed or when subjected to heat, impact, or friction, nag-undergo siya ng rapid chemical change. So ano example nito? Yung mga paputok natin. So example, ano yung mga components ng mga paputok? Yan, nitrates, organic nitrates, nitro compounds, perchlorate salts, and organic peroxides. That's why, di ba, ito yung mga regulated ng government. PNP, and you need to have your PNP license para if ever you would need this uh, chemicals, no? Para to make sure lang that you won't use it para sa paggawa ng mga bomb. Next are toxic chemicals. It may occur after acute or chronic exposure. So nilalagay din sa SDS, no, yung nakalagay doon if chronic yung exposure, this would result to blah blah blah. So ano yung mga toxic chemicals? Yan, mga cyanide, sodium, azide, dimethyl mercury, benzene, and other derivatives. And all other organic solvents. So malas na nung nasa mga petroleum lab, no? Almost all are organic and definitely they are all toxic. Neurotoxin sa utak. Mercury, xylene, trichloroethylene, and hexane. So, kaya 'di ba yung mercury na thermometer, dinidiscourage na siya. Hematotoxins or sa blood, na carbon monoxide, nitrates, aromatic amine compounds. For the liver naman, yung mga chloroform or dinitrobenzene. For kidney, yung mercury and carbon tetrachloride. For sa skin, the organic solvents. No? So, be very careful in handling these chemicals inside the lab. So ano ba yung National Fire Protection Association? So ito yung rating system natin. So it's divided siya into 4 quadrants or category. We have the health hazard, fire hazard, reactivity, and ano yung specific hazard. So dito, as you can see sa fire hazard, nire-rate siya depending on the flash point. And Fahrenheit, kasi nga sa US din to nag-originate, no? So mas sanay sila sa Fahrenheit. So 0 if wala siyang tendency to create fire, and 4 yung below 73 Fahrenheit nagpa-flash na. So example nito yan, mga gasoline. So, next is the health hazard. Is it normal, slightly hazardous, hazardous, extreme danger, or deadly? So, 4 yung highest na rating. Or ito yung mas dangerous. Just like your fire hazard. Sa reactivity, is it stable, unstable, violent chemical change, shock or heat, or may detonate, or parang sa bomb, no? So, number 4, yung may pinakamataas din na rating. Now, dito sa specific hazard, nilalagay kung is it an acid, a base, is it corrosive, oxidizer, radioactive, or use no water. Ibig sabihin, ito yung mga hindi mo pwedeng lagyan ng water kasi pwedeng mag-react violently. Okay? Any question? Any questions so far? So no questions? Next. Other lab and safety symbol. So usually sa mga planta, ito yung makikita natin kapag may electric hazard. Yan. So pag may mga ginagawa, so nilalagay yan. It's mandated na near sa area is may nakalagay tayong electric hazard. We have also the radiation hazard. Saan natin ito madalas makita? Kapag nagpapa-x-ray sa hospital, no? And also, kapag yung gumagamit ka ng x-ray, so sa sulfur analysis namin dati, no, use x-ray. So meron kaming patch and nag-alert siya if too much na ba yung radiation na na-absorb or nagkaroon ba ng leak from the equipment to the personnel. Yun. Okay, so question and answer portion. Okay, are we all ready? So, what should the personnel avoid during doing before using a PPE for the first time? So, before tayong gumamit ng PPE, ano yung dapat nating gawin? A, store it in their working area. So, tabi mo lang doon. B, inspect and ensure if it fits properly. Check for any defects or know the proper waste disposal. So, the correct answer is A. Store it in their working area. Next, which of the following is not included in the GHS or the globally harmonized system? Product shelf life, flammability, corrosive hazards, toxic hazards, or explosives. So the correct answer is A. So the shelf life is not included there. But definitely the flammability, corrosiveness, toxic hazards, and explosives naka-indicate yan. Next. So kapag may flame ay B and D. It's flammable and corrosive. Oxidizers. Yan, so dalawa sila. Next. So when we are receiving chemicals, no, it should be checked. The condition, the containers. So kapag nagre-receive tayo, dapat ang protocol is if hindi siya in proper condition, you have to inform your client or you have to inform the personnel na nagpadala nung sample na yon. So, details of new chemicals must be entered in the laboratory inventory and stored in a designated area. So, meron tayong mga government agencies na nag-check ng some of our chemicals na ginagamit. So, for example, toluene is being checked by PDEA. So, may inventory dapat. Nakalagay kung saan ginamit, ilan yung volume, paano na-dispose, etc. The date of receipt and date of first usage must be recorded on the bottles of peroxide-forming chemicals. No? So, hindi siya dapat na-store ng matagal. Chemicals must not be placed indiscriminately in the storage shelf. Grouping should be based on their compatibility. So sabi natin, yung mga oxidizers, hindi siya pwedeng sama sa mga flammable. Separate chemicals into compatible groups and store in alphabetically with compatible groups. So yung proper storage should be followed. So, some of the compatibility hindi sila dapat yung wood or etc. So, dapat yung storage natin meron ditong harang or rim guard na tinatawag para in case na may earthquake or may movement, hindi malalaglag yung mga chemicals. So, pag nalaglag yan, nag-react with one another, it would cause accident. And pwedeng super hazardous nung makreate na compounds. So, flammable chemicals must not be stored sa mga bench tops and safety cabinet. And dapat yung mga flammable solvents, hindi lang siya naka-open and sa mga beakers lang basta-basta. So, it should be away from the source, any source of ignition. So, yung mga flammable chemicals dapat nasa refrigerator na designed for the laboratory. So, in transporting chemicals, no, dapat meron siyang container. Para in case na magkaroon ng spill, nandun, doon lang mapupunta yung mga liquid. And then, dapat meron tayong right inventory. So, dapat meron tayong annual inspection. But if you follow naman ISO 17025, no, nakalagay lang dun, one of the requirements there is yung proper chemical inventory. So, yung mga expired na, anong ginagawa sa mga expired? Ginagamit pa rin. So, kailangan natin yan ibigay or ipatreat dun sa mga accredited treater for proper disposal. No? So, in case ng chemical spill, so requirement din na meron tayong spill kit para in case of mga spills, ma-contain agad natin sila. So, in case of spill, evacuate yung mga non-essential personnel from the area. I-ventilate natin yung area by opening the windows para ma-disperse kung ano man yung mga fumes there. Extinguish the flames. Wag na wag mag-turn on ng any switch. Kasi once na may spark, pwedeng yun yung mag-cause ng fire or explosion. Use spill kit and dustpan with dry sand para mas ma-absorb lalo na yung mga organics. So for chemical spills, no, use absorbent pad or use a weak base such as sodium bicarbonate or soda ash. For base spills, use a weak acid or example nito boric acid or citric acid to neutralize the base. For mercury spills, so wag na wag hahawakan na. Use appropriate respiratory protection, then dust it using sulfur powder. Hindi siya basta-basta dadakotin tapos itatapon. Some laboratory safety precaution, use PPE at all times. Do not work alone in the lab. It's Isa yan sa mga unwritten rules, no? Bawal na mag-isa ka lang sa laboratory. Kasi in case of emergency, dapat may isang tao na magre-responde sa'yo. So kapag nag-heat sa test tube or any apparatus, laging away from you. Hindi yung tinapat mo talaga pa talaga sa mukha mo yung test tube. Water-reactive substances like sodium should not be in contact with moisture or water. Bakit? Pwedeng magkaroon ng explosion, mini explosion. Dilute acids and bases by slowly pouring the acid or base into the water. Ano yung rule dito? Acid to water and never na water to acid kasi doon magkakaroon ng violent reaction and pwedeng tumalsik yun sa inyo. So, always know kung saan yung mga emergency equipment. Like the eye shower, baka naman obstructed yan. Eye wash, your fire extinguisher, dapat kabisado natin para in case of emergency, alam natin kung saan pupunta. So never heat flammable substances with an open flame, so use water bath. Use boiling chips, yan, sa mga nagdi-distill. Kasi once na, si boiling chips kasi siya yung nag-absorb ng heat. So in case na walang boiling chips, anong mangyayari? Magpuputok-putok yon and magkakaroon ng violent reaction. So, pwedeng pumutok yung flask natin or yung kusa siyang lalabas. So, baka magkaroon ng accident. Be sure na malamig yung glassware before you touch it. Laboratory equipment must be regularly inspected and always consult the STS. So, ito yung mga emergency safety equipment, your fire extinguisher, your eye wash, and the shower. So, paano gamitin yung fire extinguisher? Pass. The, pull the pin, aim, then you squeeze and then you sweep side by side when using the fire extinguisher. So, I appreciate yung some of the companies na nagkakaroon ng fire drills and trainings regarding paggamit ng fire extinguisher. So, sa industry namin, it's mandatory. Aside from the fire extinguisher, meron talagang yung mga malalaking fire kasama sa fire training namin. We call it live fire. All chemical splashes in the skin must be immediately flushed under running water. Baka naman ipagpabukas pa natin or pag-uwi pa natin, no? So, mangangati yan. And ang mahirap kapag yung nasugatan na tayo. Contaminated clothing must be removed while flushing the body. Kaya nga, kailangan dun sa shower. So, ang isang best practice, no, dapat lagi kang merong extra clothes, extra underwear, extra lahat sa locker mo. Kasi in case ng ganito, meron kang pampalit. So kapag ice yung na contaminate, flush it with water for at least 15 minutes. So dapat we regularly check our ice shower, no? Baka mababa pala yung pressure or wala palang supply ng tubig. I remember may isang OJT kami ang ginamit niya kasi hindi gumagana yung eye wash shower. Yung bidet yung ginamit niya. Kasi natalsikan siya sa mata ng acid, no? Fire extinguisher. So, aside from having a fire extinguisher, dapat appropriate din yung components, yung rating niya. Plus, dapat regularly na-check yung fire extinguisher, no? So, kasama dito sa fire extinguisher, dapat may tag yan kung makikita mo kung regularly inspected. Baka kasi during emergency, no, tuyo na pala or wala nang lumalabas dito. Okay? So, hoods. volatile and toxic yung mga chemicals. Ito yung mga glove back, atmospheric. Dapat mga set acid na oxidizing versus yung mga organic solvents, no? Okay. So, question. Yan. So, which lab safety equipment removes harmful fumes and laboratory. Ang dali ha, bill fire extinguisher for all of them. Okay. So since wala and so let's have a quick review. Ayan. So ano yung sinabi natin that the most difficult step and it's also the source of greatest error in analytical process. So what is it? It's the sampling or acquiring the sample. And ano nga yung difference between more pipette and serological pipette? So your more pipette or your serological pipette has graduations up to the tip, no? So yun yung basic difference nila. So what if makakita tayo ng it's either volumetric pipette or serological or pipette. Tapos nakakita tayo ng frosted ring on top. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng frosted ring? So, ang ibig sabihin nun, that you need to what? You need a pipette bulb to blow any liquid remaining, no? And for the exam or for your assessment, you have to be familiar with some of the laboratory equipments, the types of sampling, and the sampling process. Ayan. So, hindi pa included yung sa STS. Actually, for ano pa talaga siya? For next week's topic. But since sobrang haba talaga ng topic natin, plus may reading exercise pa tayo next week regarding sa laws here in the Philippines. Ayan. Ano pa ba yung kailangan nating i-review? So, ano yung difference ng Class A and Class B? So, mass accuracy Class A, or sabi nga dun sa discussion kanina, no? Twice na mas accurate si Class A compared to Class B na laboratory glasswares. So, ano yung type ng sampling kung saan merong equal chance of being selected? So, ito lagi yung keyword, equal chance or etc. So, it's random sampling. So, with that, ano pa ba yung kailangan nating i-review? So sabi natin kanina, the filters that can be heated and used in gravimetric analysis is GFF or yung flattening filter. So saan natin madalas nilalagay ang isang sample kapag kailangan natin siyang ipa-cool down? So we need to put it inside the desiccator. Ayan. So 20 items lang yung exam. So I think enough na yung 15 minutes for you to prepare before you take the exam. Actually, isa lang pala yung mag-exam natin, no? Na-open ni ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Sige po.
Okay. Yeah. So, any question, Miss Rachel? So, in case, no, pwede namang mag-consult if may something na gumugulo sa isip natin, no? And definitely, yung 20 items na exam today would be discussed next week. So for thank you Miss Rachel, no? None so far. So definitely yung next week, ganito rin, wala ding computation but expect na medyo marami kasi next week we would be talking about quality control versus quality assurance. Yeah, some of the role of a QA and QC analyst, elements ng we will discuss yung ISO 9001, 2015 and ISO 17025 2017 version. So marami 'yon. Ito, medyo mahaba. We would have a reading break, reading assignment, siguro sa second half, sa afternoon. Environmental laws and regulation in the Philippines. So medyo mahaba itong reading na to. But don't worry if you want to prepare. So pwede na makikita naman na to dun sa portal natin. Yan.
Yes, ma'am. Pwede silang mag-advance reading.
Yes. Yan. Thank you. So, if no more questions, so I think you deserve this 14 minutes na break before you can take the exam at 3:30. Okay? So, thank you. Thank you for listening. It is my first time to teach ng review classes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. So, sana next week mas marami tayo para yung mga exercise natin, masasagutan natin sabay-sabay. Okay? So, thank you.
Hopefully, ma'am, na yung iba.
Oo
Then,
nga po.
rely na lang kasi sila ma'am sa recorded session natin. Although yung iba talaga is mga night shift. So, yun yung kagandahan ng review class natin is pwede nilang balikan dahil meron tayong recorded.
Yes. So, ginagawa nila parang Spotify lang, di ba?
Yes po.
Okay. So thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
See you next week, Miss Rachel,
We'll
Sir
check.
Bong, Sir Chris.
Sige po. Fred, na-log out yata si Rachel.
Wait lang.